Am I live? Is it true? I like to think I am. Wow. Ratatouille. Should be live. Should be a live. Anyway. Alright, that setup should work for me. Roughly. Hopefully it shared on socials. There we go. Live slightly earlier, a few minutes, but hey, we were pretty early last week. It should be fun. Elemental Energy. Don't talk about this set too often. I got some sugar-free, caffeine-free lemonade. Doesn't taste sugar-free. I didn't know they made sugar-free lemonade, but I'm really excited. It's good. So I picked the background color to be purple this time. I feel like Elemental Energy, I get like a purple vibe. Like a purple-yellow kind of vibe from it. A voib. Real voib. But hopefully everyone's doing all right this lovely evening, or whatever time of it is around the world for you. And I think this thing is not where it's... Why does this keep moving? I feel like it's happened like last week, where I realized it was moved, and like I swear I'm not moving it. I'm not. But we'll start the tier list in a few minutes. Make sure to stay hydrated, posture check, all that good, healthy stuff. It should be an interesting one for sure. I feel like there's not as many like notables in this set, and this kind of goes for a lot of the GX sets. But it makes discussions that much more interesting, I like to think. There's only like one for sure I know is like S tier. A couple others I could see in like A tier. A couple. Maybe a few. Not a ton. Ooh, boo, boo, boo. 60 cards, flat 60 card set per usual. But yeah, let's schwang. Shoot this over. Yabadoo, dabadoo. I think. Yeah, it's just defaults to this. That's fine. Yeah, so the only one that's like definitely for sure like S tier is Pot of Avarice. Like that's the only one I'm like, yeah, that's definitely S tier. There's some few other ones like it could be good. But we can always just start in like order per usual, like alphabetical order. The Armed Changer. Send one equipped soul from your hand to the graveyard to activate this card. That's kind of bleh. The equipped monster destroys a monster as a result of battle. Equipped monster destroys monster as a result of battle. The controller of this equipped card can add one monster with attack equal to less than equipped monster. Graveyard to their hand. It seems kind of bad. You have to lose an equipped card, which is really specific, to maybe recur a monster. Now, obviously, the stronger monster you have it on, the the wider range of monsters you can use it for. But like otherwise, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like I could see someone like if they're running like an equipped deck, right? Maybe one card, but it doesn't like boost anything. It doesn't boost like attack or give them any sort of like advantage. Just essentially it does nothing, right? Like on activation. This feels pretty bad. I don't think it's an S or it should be F. I had originally S for shite. But D seems applicable for it. We'll save the Dark World stuff. Use some of like the Chthonian stuff. Yeah, we'll save the Hero and Dark World stuff for later on. I mean, Hydrogeddon is like a classic one. I think it's definitely one of the better ones in the set. I don't think it's S tier, but if we're like calling good cards good, like definitely A. Hey, what's up, Liquid Drax? Hey, happy birthday to the wife. 12 hours? Oh my gosh. Does she work in like the medical field? I think you've talked about this before. But yeah, happy birthday to her. 28. I remember when I was 28. Some time ago. It wasn't that long ago. Oh, Shysta. Doctor. Big stuff. Gosh, 12-hour shift. And the longest shifts I've worked were like 10-hour shifts, which really like aren't that bad. Except for like 2 of the days I had to work them, and like those hours were pretty bad because they were like spread out throughout like a whole day. And it was like a hard turnaround from like the previous shifts. Ugh, terrible. But otherwise, 10-hour days, honestly, I feel like doing 4 10-hour days to have like one extra day off. Like I would do that. I mean, I suppose theoretically I could in like a general sense. But like, I could definitely do like that kind of thing. But hey, glad you're able to make it to here. 32 I ran Hydra my Go deck. He ain't. I mean, not Go format. I hope because he's not legal in Go format. But Hydra Gown is really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm 31, turning 32 in like 2 months. So I get those feelings. But Hydra Gown, yeah, it's not busted. That's what makes it really fun, right? As like it's just like the right amount of attack for it's not too weak, but it's not too strong, and it can apply pressure, but it's not always active. So it makes it like a really cool monster. Also has a cool art, right? This just like brown, like I'm gonna say water because obviously it turns into water, but like it just gets damage in so fast. Like it's really good. Hey, History YG, what's up? It murders recruiters and gadgets. Yeah, like anything that's weak, especially when gadgets became more prevalent in was it 2007? Because this guy can just punch all over them. You get another one out, and then you like punish that, or like a recruiter, you can punish that. I'll go not Goat, but my old DS Spirit Caller. I do want to play the DS games on stream. Definitely Spirit Caller. But I don't know when I'll get to those, but definitely sooner than later, hopefully. Is Oxygeddon in this too? Yes. Now Oxygeddon, it has a higher attack, which is nice, but Its effect only works on pyro monsters, which are like not even fire, just pyro, and it does bo- slight burn damage to both players. Like it's a weak beater. Yeah, like you need to have some sort of like gimmicky thing with it, but then if you're trying to get Water Dragon out, it's it feels non uh like synergistic with that stuff. I'm feeling Seer D. It is just like a general, like at worst, it's just a beater. Like its effect, like it's when it's destroyed. Like I feel like if it destroyed pyro monsters, that would be better. If or at the very least, like inflict maybe 1,000 to your opponent only. Like it's something that afflicts, like it has a weakness to fire, which I suppose in that regard, you might not come across that too often. But then it's just a vanilla beater, so like it's kind of by like these standards is kind of bad. I'm feeling D. I feel like its effect like kind of it only hurts it for like no reason. Um, the Bonnie H2O just is just like the special summonable thing. Yeah, the stats are fine, but it's like at this point, like we need more than just an 1800, whatever. I mean, I could be convinced to put it in C. Yeah, this one you tribute 3 monsters to Water Dragon from hand deck or graveyard. Okay, so summoning it is like you can summon it from anywhere, which is really cool. So this card's a really cool ultimate rare. I'll have to get an ulti of this at some point. It would be funny. Let's see. Going to my Bonnie H2O. Shucks. Good stats. Fire and pyro monsters. Their attack becomes 0. When it's destroyed, it's a special summon the materials back. So problem is you need 4 cards to get this guy out for essentially just an anti-fire card. I mean, at worst comes to worst, right? He does have like legitimately good stats, like on both sides of the coin. And then when it's destroyed, not even by battle, just destruction, he recurs all 3, which isn't terrible either. Yeah, like I don't hate this card as it's just it's annoying to get it out, but like once you do, yeah, I feel like I think bonding just have to go alongside it. It's essentially just a ritual spell. Oh, you could DDT it. But that was also like running like a DDT Water Dragon deck. Oh no, that is cooking. That is cooking. Hmm. Let's do Weeda. This is the thumbnail of the stream because it has fun art. It's like Return from a Different Dimension, but silly. Yeah, yeah. They just got a new support. It was a Light Water Dragon? It came out in I think Mesa Muertos, their first protocol. One of those sets. Shame the Chemicritters were so dead on release, but hey, maybe one day we'll get that Fire Dragon. Pay 500 life points for all level 3 monsters in face-up attack position on the field. I don't like its attack position. Like, I wish it was kind of everything. But it is just like a weird board wipe. Like, 500 is like kind of whatever, life points. 3 is very specific, but it's also not the most random number. Like, if it was 2, I'd be like, okay, hold on a second. I feel like this is a C. It's not like you're probably not going to play it, but like it technically doesn't, Like it works for what you would use it for. It is very specific, but again, like I said, it feels like it works for what you need it for. So I can't really like complain. So I'm definitely like chugging all this lemonade. Well, let's do let's do the face cards. The Knight's Court. Which includes King Knight, Jack's Knight, and Queen's Knight. Which basically, Queen's Knight, whatever effect or stats. Jack's Knight is annoying because it's a tribute summonable monster, vanilla 1900, but yeah, these came super late. This should have been in like Yugi Evolution, the starter deck, or is it structure deck, whichever one it was. It should have came in that. Like, they should have made like the hollow, like one of the hollows, King's Knight. But King's Knight, like King's Knight isn't exactly terrible. Like it's terrible in the sense that yeah, you need Queen's Knight who's just vanilla, but it's the only one with an effect, so it gets a little points for that, and it does pull a tribute monster, but also not from the hand, and that's really bad. It should be hand or deck. Goodness. So you have to run like a Garnet, essentially. I think they're all light. Yeah. Like I feel like you could argue it looks something like this. Yeah, I mean, Shining Angel can only get Queen's Knight out. Yeah, I would say you do have like ways, and you can also search it out because with reinforcements of the army. But also, like by this point, like what's the thing is like what's Jack's Knight doing, right? Like what's Queen's Knight doing? Like King's Knight is the one that's kind of like worth a damn. I guess if you want to compare Queen's Knights to in regards of like, hey, you need this to work in conjunction with King's Knight. Sure, I could see like the benefit of because it is easier to get out. It does play into King's Knight effect, which is a positive. But Jack's Knight is like, what are we like? Like you can't draw into it without using a card to put it back in. Like so you'd have to like tribute over it, or you just have a dead card. Like this card feels even worse because of King's Knight's effect. Like how many Garnets do we have in Yu-Gi-Oh by this point, right? Like is he the first Garnet? Uh, we could do the two. We could do the Alexis cards, whatever they're called. There's 3 of them. Etol Cyber. Tax opponent's life points directly. Increase 500 during the damage step only. I mean, his defense is okay, but potentially get a 1700 beater on very like situational things. This feels really bad. Not F, but like D. I mean, there's something charming. Like, there's one thing I really find charming about the whole GX era is just how the cards are like very like Cyber Girl. It's just like how they feel all so anime. There's something kind of fun in that. And then Blade Skater is just really bad. like is just a vanilla. Cyberblader. If we're talking the OCG, this thing was this thing was busted. Let's see. While your opponent controls only one monster, this card is not destroyed as a result of battle. While the opponent controls two monsters, it doubles the attack of this card. When your opponent only has three monsters, it gains spell traps and monster effects. I mean, it's good effects, right? Battle. You know, it's a shame they don't stack. That's kind of the bad side. But you know, potential battle protection, double attack, and like negation. Yeah, the OCG this thing was like really busted. But honestly, like as effects go, yeah, it is like specific, and you don't really get to control it, right? Like you can modulate it to a degree, but it depends on like you know the cards you have and the cards your opponent has. And I want to say it. Did he play in Speed Duel? Or am I thinking of the other? Cause I know like Ben 10 was like pretty busted in Speed Duel. It's I feel like a B. A B seems like it has a good effect. It's just it's yeah, because like Water Dragon for example, it just feels more iffy to get out, and you know it's a bit more specific than like Cyberblader can at least. You usually have a good chance of getting some sort of benefit off of it. I think that's it for the Cyber Girl stuff. We can do like the Chaz, like Chthonian. Yeah, definitely ARS and the OCG. I should probably do like a individual video about Cyberblader. Because I also want to do one about like Victory Dragon, you know, like some more like Series 4 era OCG content. Maybe one day. Let's see. Chthonian Soldier. Cool art. Bad stats. A lot of warriors in this set. When this card is destroyed by your opponent's attacking monster and sent to the graveyard, inflict the battle damage you took from this battle to your opponent's life points as well. Okay, so it's it shared the pain. I mean, I guess it makes use of its low attack. And, it gets its benefit by being bad, which kind of sucks. Right? It'd be better if it was like your opponent took the damage. But it's, it's. I went through and C because like it gets the job done for what it's designed to do. I could hear an argument for D, but like it's good for how it's designed. Let's see. God, there's a lot of Chthonian cards. I'm surprised I haven't got more Chthonian stuff. Let's see. We activate this. I think I picked up some copies of these from like a duelist pack recently. I think. Your opponent fusion summons a monster, tribute a monster, take control of that fusion. Like, I mean, it's not a terrible effect. Essentially, if your opponent is playing a fusion strategy, you can essentially turn one of your monsters into like a permanent steal for that. Like, it's not just for a turn, and it doesn't put any other restrictions on it, which is really cool. I think it's a neat card. I don't know if it's good because it is specific, right? Only when they fusion summon a monster. So not just like a fusion on their field that already pre-exists. And you do have to tribute a monster on top of this just being a trap. And no additional benefits either. But you also don't have to pay anything for it, which is kind of nice, aside from the monster. Like, you only pay life points. So, like, I'm feeling like a C. I'm feeling a C. A Chthonian Blast. When a monster on your side of the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, destroy one face-up monster with the lowest attack on the field, and both take damage equal to half of its attack. So this kind of plays with Polymer in a way. Even though this doesn't destroy tributes, but theoretically you can use it when that fusion monster gets destroyed. Although the problem is it does blow up essentially a random monster, and you both take damage. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Elemental Energy, go home, you're drunk. Like, this feels only good if you're playing on the back foot type of thing. And even that, you might not even want the burn damage. So it's like, there's an additional risk factor to it. So I feel like D. I feel D. Then Chthonian Alliance, an equip spell. Kind of hard to read because of this, digital file I have. Increase the attack of the equipped monster by 800 points for each face-up monster on the field with the same name as equipped monster. Okay, so this is... I don't remember when Infernal Reckless Summon comes out, but this is, designed for that. It's like a weirdly specific United We Stand. For each other face-up. So the most it's getting is 1,600, right? So not including its own. That's kind of a shame. Like, it should be a default 800, and then an additional 800 for each one. But maybe that'd be too busted. Scapegoat. Yeah, I guess, but you get one beefy token. Like, it feels like a card that, like, it's almost good. Machine Dupe. I suppose that could work too. The thing with Machine Dupe, though, is that they're going to be, like, weak monsters. Like, you'd have to, like, buff it up with a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, like a Solidarity. I'm thinking D. I don't know. I can see the potential uses for it, but it feels like it's a bit too weird. Command Knight and the IRS. Oh no. I could maybe be convinced a C, but I'm feeling D. Now, they also had this other card that Chaz played. Chaz it up. Infernal Incinerator. Kill me normal summon or set by discarding all cards in your hand to the GY except for itself, as well as tributing a monster with 2,000 or more 2,000 or more higher. With an attack 2,000 or higher from your side of the field, increase attack of this monster by 200 for each monster on your opponent's side of the field. Decreases by 500 for each monster on your side of the field, except for itself. I mean, in theory, you can make use of its discard effect. The tribute is pretty bad. That's probably the biggest downside. Like that requirement for that. Like, I don't know if it needed that secondary thing. Honestly, it should have had like a Shadow Ghoul effect, honestly. Instead of this weird like increase decrease. It's like, incentivizes you not playing monsters, but also you kind of want to play it like later in the game. Your opponent has more monsters, but then you're still like losing a monster and like all the other cards in your hand. Yeah, this seems pretty bad. D or F. Yes, the junior rules that people definitely still play. Like I'm feeling D because in theory you could probably finagle something with it. By like setting cards and like having like weird like graveyard interaction stuff. For like follow up plays. I want to throw it an F if it can't proc to Dark Worlds. Can it? I mean, you would think because it's in a set with Dark Worlds. Let's see here. Dark World. These effects only activate if there are cards discarded by a card effect. They will not activate if discarded for the cost of like Infernal Incinerator. Okay, so it does not work with Dark World. Yeah, because you like the stuff you want to send is only for like follow up plays. You can't really capitalize on like any of that. Okay. And let's talk about the zombie guy. Is that Return Zombie? I think that's like in the realm of this stuff. So often, unless you can special summon it. Yeah, but at that point, you're like just play something better. Like I could theoretically hear an argument for D, but like it does feel like it should have worked differently in this set specifically. Well, you have no cards in your hand. It's not destroyed by battle in attack position. So it's like a weird, crappy Spirit Reaper with slightly. I mean, I won't say slightly. It's better Assassin Spirit Reaper, that's for sure. But like you're gonna play this in like that that cyber deck from Cybernetic Revolution. This feels like a D. This feels like a D. But maybe F. I'm trying to think if anyone ever like tried out Reborn Zombie in anything, and I can't think of anything. Also, it's only when it's in attack position, so you're still taking damage. Yeah, no, that's horror. That's horrible. Spirit Barrier. Eh. But still, like you gotta like have no cards in your hand. Like if it was, it'd be a lot better if it was in defense position for sure. Like let me see. That's another Chaz card. Yeah, I feel like Chaz just gets a lot of really bad cards. We can do rollout. Rollout, I think is kind of neat. Select a unit monster graveyard, equip it to an appropriate monster. This seems like decent. It gives you like if your union thing is destroyed, it just brings it right back immediately and equips it. You can also set up other plays with it. Yeah, this seems like pretty solid. I don't think it's an A, but it seems like a comfy B. I'm gonna say we're saving Dark Worlds. We'll save Dark Worlds and Heroes for last. Simultaneous loss. Each player's in the top deck to the graveyard. If only unions had strength at the time. Yeah, they didn't really give unions like anything for quite a while. Sounds like it's raining. Yeah, each player mills the top deck card of their deck. Not great for milling decks, really, because it's barely mills. Like you could definitely combo with this thing, so it's not like inherently bad. But also, it's like defaultly it's an unknown, right? Like you'd have to use something like Wind Blast or like Ryza when Ryza comes out. But the thing with those cards are like generally like you're playing those because you want them to like your opponent to redraw into a certain card. Like so this kind of mitigates that purpose, which isn't great. But it's also just like a very basic effect, and I don't hate like generally basic effects. It's like it could like theoretically come up. Like this thing could be like broken, in like 5 years, right? If there's like a specific thing that works with it. I'm gonna say I was thinking D origin. I'm thinking C because I think there's merit in simple effects, basically. Uh, the League of Uniform Nomenclature, Clayature, Conjurer Wolf for Plague Spreader. Yeah, like you could use it in Lightsworn, but it's just really bad. Look at the Moki Moki. Moki Moki, dude. Okay. Select one face of level 2 or lower no monster on your side of the field to activate this card. Special summon from your deck to your side field as many possible names as a selected monster. I think people still play this in like those like jank kind of decks. Like it's special summon stuff from the deck, which is like pretty good, honestly, for especially for like low level vanilla monsters. You can use it with Bokoichi. Oh my gosh. I was definitely one of those people that like when I first was like learning about Goat format and stuff, and I saw it to Koichi, I'm like, oh, people definitely run Bokoichi, right? Yeah, I want to give this card a B as well. Because I think people still like play it in like weird jank tank stuff, words that rhyme. I mean, we can do more chat stuff. Yeah, so like V Tiger, okay stats, and then the catapults, not great stats, but it does increase by 400 points with some inherent protection. Wait on V Tiger. It basically do a 2,000 attack monster, which actually is pretty okay-ish with an attack protection. Yeah. I'm like bouncing between them because like they would technically go together. Uh, as these two as they are for 400 attack and defense, yeah, plus some um attack protection. W Shining Angel. That's true. You can also get it out with UFOroid. Like all that for 2KB with protection. Like it's still pretty bad. It's not like horrible or anything. Like I feel like it's kind of I get similar vibes to like Oxygeddon, where it's essentially just a beater with like a slight effect. Like obviously, you would combo with like rollout, to keep like protecting it. But still, like 2,000 is, it only gets you so far. C, yeah, I'm kind of balanced between C and D. At the very least, I think the protection is more worth it than like Oxygeddon's like weird drawback. And then VW, which is the two like clunk. Got removed from play. You discard one card, change the battle position of one monster opponent's side of the field, and it does not apply flip effects, which is nice. I really wish it had better stats, though. If it at least had like 100 more, so we can get over like 2K walls, if need be. But like discard for a battle position change, it could be worse, could be better. I'm feeling C. Yeah, but the materials are bad, but they're not, as we kind of established, not like the worst to get out, especially because you have to control them, but you don't need polymerization, which is nice. Yeah, you could just fusion it normally as well from the hand. So there's different ways to get it out, which is also, I guess, technically a benefit. But it feels like kind of like in the same line of like the other ones where it's very basic as far as like these things go. But this guy looks so cool, doesn't he? He looks really cool. It's like if Gate Guardian and Megazord had a baby. Let's see. Once per turn, you can. So you need XYZ Dragon Cannon and VW. So it's asking a lot. But you can fusion summon it with like King of the Swamp, right? And like one of the other ones. Once per turn, remove from play one card on your opponent's side of the field. Well, that's really good. When it attacks, you can change the battle position of the attack target monster. Okay, so it's like VW, but just like when it's attacking, and it still stops like effect or like flips. It's good stats, good effect. It's just a pain in the butt to get out, and that kind of makes me feel like another C because it reminds me of Water Dragon, where like Water Dragon theoretically, if you have it out, it's good. It feels like it's a bit too iffy for a B. Yeah, like you can get out like at least like two different ways, but they're both it's definitely a cumbersome card. Not bad, but cumbersome. And I think that's how I feel about like some of these other cards. Like trying to get like King's Knight and that whole thing working, or like Water Dragon. Yeah, if it was a little on like the simpler side, like if it was at least like one or the other plus something more basic, like like a union monster. But it needs like, you know. But again, it's also just fun though. I kind of want to build these like horrible GX decks. Let's do the familiar possessed. Actually, no. Let's keep on the Chaz stuff. Let's do the Ojamas. Yeah, like a light machine union, like something basic. I think we only have just the two Ojamas. Yeah, Ojamagic, and Ojam Muscle. That looks to be it. So Ojamagic is actually really good. Like you still see this played in like modern Ojama decks. Like hand or field, so you can trigger it like on your own, let alone your opponent doing something. To add all three from your deck to your hand, this is A tier. It just adds. You can even like set it and like destroy it with whatever too. And then this also works with like later Ojama support stuff, like Ojama Country, Arcana Knight Joker. Yeah, this card just like it gets 3 cards out, which is like pretty good. Ojam Muscle, not quite the same. Not quite the same level of potency. Where you select an Ojama King and it destroys all monsters that have Ojama in its name except for the King. Then it gains 1,000 for each attack. So like you could, like there's like OTKs you can do with this. I think. But it's very, very win more. I should probably build like a modern Ojama deck. I like Ojamas. I think I have most of the cards anyway. We need more Ojama support, I think is what I'm saying. Feeling like a C. I feel like you could like argue anywhere between like B and D, honestly. Yeah, it's not like the craziest thing, right? But it's also is very like win more. Oh my gosh, someone subscribed. Hey Giovanni, thank you for subbing. I'm like, oh, I never see that that notification. Also, I'm looking on my like live stream replay, not my like stream lab, so I may have caught that late. Apologies. Boop boop beep boo. Non-fusion area. This card got a relatively recent reprint. Neither player confusion summon. This seems like a good floodgate for like fusion stuff. Now it doesn't avoid like special summoning fusion monsters. Keep in mind. It does block you out too, but it's a continuous Polystopper. Hey Cheshire, what's up? What's going on? What's going on? The fusions are weak, but it is a very like cut and dry effect. Yeah, like at this point, like no one's playing heroes, but I think it's a B. I think it's like just a generally solid floodgate, even if it doesn't necessarily see play. It could be an A. It could. I just feel like we haven't really seen. Yeah. We haven't really seen it amount to much, even when like fusion cards are like around. So like it definitely has like a ceiling to it, but it's not a bad ceiling. Nano Breaker. This seems like a bizarre card. If attacks a face-up level 3 or low monster, destroy the monster with this card's effect, blank effect damage. Okay, so it's like a very specific. It's kind of like a Sasuke. Machine's weird. Doesn't look like a machine, but it has good stats for level 4. Yeah, Wangu also has higher attack. This thing has like, but as far as this thing goes specifically, decent attack, decent defense. Yeah, the problem is that it's only like when it attacks. But it doesn't seem like terrible or anything. It just seems a bit too specific. But like, in another universe, I could, this card could have seen play. Could work with Stygian Dirge. I'm tired today. I've been up way early. I got done the Labyrinth Nightmare Yu-Gi-Oh CG today. So like getting work done. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like Wangu can't deal with stuff like already on the field, as well as like like setting monsters. Whereas Nano Breaker just Like I guess if you attack into like a face down, it would have to flip up for damage calculation regardless, right? Does this thing work with face down monsters? But it says like when it attacks a face up specifically. Yeah, I feel like C. I think maybe like someone could create an argument to make it like a B, but it's a little on the specific side. I'm a little curious though. Like I could see this card be like a sleeper hit in some thing. Let's see. Any weird like rulings with it? Yeah, it has to be a face up monster, so it will not work on like face down stuff, which kind of sucks. So it's like only good against like weird monsters, like essentially bad monsters. That's probably fine. Level modulation. Your opponent draws two. I don't know. I'm talking like Agent Smith. Your opponent draws two cards. Mr. Anderson. Special summon one monster from your graveyard increase level and same ignoring the summoning conditions. Monster has special summon by its effect cannot attack nor activate or apply its effects these turns. I feel like if you're giving your opponent two draws to like potentially get, cheese out like a high level monster, let it do something. Oh, like it's really good to get that thing out just like all willy nilly, but the two cards is a pretty significant drawback. Because you could just like, get in the graveyard like an Armed Dragon level 10 or Horse level 8, something like that. At least if you do it with like a Horus, its effect will be like active during your opponent's turn. Yeah, most level monsters aren't good under this restriction. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Like you want to use them like as quickly as possible and get them out because they're probably not going to last too long on the field. Under most circumstances, kind of barring Horus, but that deck's already like specific. This feels like a D. Again, you could theoretically argue like a C. Like I could hear an argument for that. But like it requires like setup and giving your opponent draws. Like it's not even one draw, it's two draws. Like I think if you cross that off, like you could like, reconsider this maybe. Level limit area A, not BA. This is a trap one though. All face up level 3. God, this thing in Nano Breaker really don't like level 3s. All face up level 3 or lower monsters on the field are changed to attack position or main attack until while this card is active. It can do things with other cards. If you give your opponent pot agree, such a low pool of monsters that get bad to do it. It's poor. Yeah, you're giving your opponent a pot agreed. It's just bad. This feels like a cool card that I don't know what you would even use it with. Like, what, Spirit Reaper? Like, this feels like a fairly bad Floodgate. Because it doesn't really, like, protect you from anything. It kind of, like, anti-protects, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's counterpart to B, but that doesn't mean it's, is this level limit area D tier? Because, like, I know what it's going for. It feels like another D tier. God, this set sucks. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like it forces things into attack, but it's because like the nature of it, it's just really specific. It doesn't really give you much like advantage as like you would probably would want it to. Yeah, but like it's only aggro against like, Area B you have a larger net to cast with it, whereas like Area A is, it's small fish, small net. Like it needs to like let you do like double damage or something against like those weak monsters. Let's do Familiar Possessed. We got more of them. Alsa. Uh, by sending one Earth Charmer and an Earth Monster from your side. Didn't these just get like reprints in like the structure deck? Especially on this card this way, by sending the Asa and Earth. Like, especially summon this from the deck. Ooh. If you do that during the battle between this attacking card and a defense monster who has less defense, it does piercing damage. Decent attack. Area. Is all just piercing? I mean, good attack from the deck. Like hand or deck is kind of like nutty. I mean, you're losing two monsters, which kind of sucks, just for a piercer. Like you can't even use this thing with like Scapegoat. I'm a little curious. But I think that like modern possessed decks play these cards, right? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I give them all a B. I feel like people playing them know more about than I do. Yeah, I guess they're all like, just getting like constant boosts and just being these big piercing beaters. It really like stacks up. Let's go back to the start of the pile and BES Tetrin. The B tier is really filling up, surprisingly. Put 3 counters on it when you summon it. It's a 1 tribute. Decent stats, all things considered. Battle protection. When it battles a monster, remove a counter. Yeah, Secret Village. Oh, lordy. I ran a Dark Magician Secret Village deck like years ago. Battle production. If it battles a monster, remove a counter at the end of the damage step. When it battles at a counter, it's destroyed. Okay, so it's kind of like the last one. Was a big core was the last one. Also, by removing 1 counter on a screen, so 1 spell trap on the field, you can use it once per turn. Okay, so as battle protection, and it can pop a spell and trap potentially multiple times. I wish its stats were flipped, but it's okay. I feel like this is a C. Let's go the other one too. Boss Rush. Boss Rush, I think, is, if I recall, one of the more important cards of this deck. Here, if during the end phase of a turn, your BS or Big Core is destroyed, the graveyard special summon from your deck one that includes BS card name or name Big Core. Yeah, this definitely seems a lot better. It just keeps these like big ships coming out. It's designed around like a gimmicky strategy. I would say B. I feel like it's not A just because the deck is not great. But it's kind of like a centerpiece of a deck. In a way, it kind of ties everything together. So I would say it's good design. Man, what are the odds we're gonna be done before 8? Yeah, it's definitely better. Like when we get to Dark Worlds and like hero stuff, we'll start seeing more like higher tier stuff. Branch. That's not a branch. That's a grave. When a fusion monster on the field is destroyed, to the graveyard, express summon from your graveyard one of the fusion materials you use for the fusion summon of that monster. It's cheeky. I can see nice for something like like heroes, right? You get like one of the vanillas back for like a play or something. Or even like VWXYZ. So I don't hate the card. I mean, it basically does nothing. It basically does nothing. I know that card, but I can't remember. It's Flaming Eternity. I think it was Flaming Eternity. Okay, so essentially this, but in field spell form. So if you have both of those, you get both materials out. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone try that combo out. Ancient Gear OTK. With Centrifugal Field? With Branch. Yeah, I feel like it seems like the kind of card that's like nice when you need it, but I don't know. Kind of bouncing between C and D. Because it just sits there and like at best it gives you like one card. At worst, it literally does not. It either does nothing or like it essentially goes for like a 1-for-1, which seems like pretty bad. But yeah, it seems like a fun gimmick. Yeah. So I feel like gimmick cards get a little bit of a leeway. But beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop. I think I have one more Yeah, the very end or Rapid Fire Magician. While this card faces up on the field, inflict 400 damage, your opponent's life points each time you activate a normal spell card. I think this card is pretty neat. I think it's neat. Yeah, because you can deal like get loops. Like anything that's just like a general burn thing. Was this guy like actually involved in like actual like FTKs? Because I'm trying to think like, I mean like like problematic FTKs. Like was he in Shadow Priestess of Ohm ODKs. Was that what I'm thinking of? Or is there like a mass driver thing? It will be S one day. Will it? That's a mighty fine claim. I think this guy has an ultimate rare, I think, in this set. It does. If they ban it for FTKs. Oh, that ulti looks pretty, though. Also, I kind of wish it just had, like, a normal foil. Like a super... Like, I could see this guy in a super rare. Because otherwise it's just ulti or in rare. Yeah, I think this card has potential more so than like a lot of the other cards. So yeah, I'll put B. Also, he just looks cool. Come on, look at that. He has 2 staffs, 2 sticks, 2 scoops. They're kind of scoops. I mean, if you think about it, like scoops of ice cream. All right. What's the best way to tackle the rest? We're in clearly no rush here. I feel like Dark Worlds would probably go relatively quickly. But I feel like generally we've been saving heroes till like the end. So let's do Dark Worlds. Beige is one of the better ones. Because he just special summons himself. I think the question is like, where do the Dark Worlds like really rank? Cause like you could say like A or B, honestly. Like, I mean, you could even argue some of them are S. Right? Because like Beige is like always in Dark World decks, right? Like something like Brown and Brow and Brawn Breaker. I'm pretty sure modern Dark World decks. I guess depending on like the kind of build. Like if I try to look up just like a random Dark World deck. I mean Snow, but Snow's not out yet. Yeah, I guess maybe modern stuff don't. What's Dark Arm Duelist? Members only content. I can't even watch it. The Dark World Danger deck. They're at least running Brow in this one. So I guess we can put Beige in B. Also, my computer just got loud. I'm gonna die. Brow. Let's see. You can draw a card, and you can draw another card. I mean, drawing is arguably better than special summoning. Yeah, I could see him in A. Not S. Brawn isn't as good. Because he has to like inflict damage. You know, it has like the attack to do so. But just like discard a card. It feels like the more like basic Dark World. Let's do all the monsters first. Gold AS. Because gold when he's discarded, special summon is, and potentially pops 2 cards. I feel like this one, like you might see on occasion, like may not see like all the time, like as prevalent as like Silva. What's the vanilla one? Scar. Scar, I think, is another kind of pretty bad one. Uh, recur. Okay, he searches out. Does this one? I feel like I never see Scar like Dark World decks. Because like now you have like Muckraker. It's kind of like the Searcher. Because it's only when you saw destroyed by battle, not by like discarding. So that kind of like goes against like the nature of the deck, you know. I feel like this is another C. Because it kind of feels like in a similar vein to Braun that you kind of need something else to happen first. Silva, turns card. Silva is definitely like up there with gold. I mean, silver and gold. Like those are kind of the two ones that you're gonna definitely be like running. What is Zur? Arguably S for modern play. The kind of problem is that it's just like it's Dark World, right? Like they're always around, but they're never like they're never the belle of the ball. Even though, like I'm a big Dark World fan, I've actually been wanting to build a Dark World deck for quite some time. I just never have gotten around to it. Zur, I don't think sees play at all. It's just a vanilla, right? Yeah, like I wouldn't say like like Grapha you could say is like an S, right? But there is a Dark World, but like that's about it. He technically is. He technically signed up for class. And then the Forces of Darkness. Return two monsters from your graveyard to your hand. Include Dark World in their names. It's a C. It recurs. It's like a slow Dark Factory. But given how Dark Worlds are like discarding stuff, you could like maybe combo off of it. It's not nothing. It's not nothing. And it's only Dark World. It doesn't have any other restrictions, which is actually kind of nice. Gateway to Dark World. It's one of the better ones. Essentially, just summons one from the graveyard, just a monster reborn. Problem is that you can't do anything else with it, but it's good for like during your opponent's turn type of thing. Feels like a B. Yeah, you definitely saw this stuff in like older Dark World decks, not like modern stuff, like older stuff. Because it revives one. Like how many revive cards are great in that regard. It's a quick play too. So like if you haven't summoned during a turn, someone gets destroyed, you can be like, wham, slam that guy down. Dark World Lightning, definitely one of the better cards as well. Or pops a face down card, and then you can discard a card. I could see this being like A or B. It's like a free like thing, but obviously it has certain disadvantages of like only being face down, but it does enable strategies, which is good. Dark Deal. You pay 1,000 life points. Your opponent activates a normal spell card. The effect of the this is just random card. The effect of the normal spell card that your opponent activated at the time becomes your opponent discards one random card from your hand. It's kind of hilarious. It's kind of hilarious. Have people messed around? I feel like people have messed around with this, but I could be mistaken. Because it feels really silly. Like, yeah, it is very specific, right? Normal spell card, paying 1,000 life points can be rough. But for like you're essentially going 1-for-1 with like a actually kind of going like +1, right? You kind of stop their spell card and then your opponent discards a card. Yeah, Dark World's played with a Neko King for a little bit in like the early 2020s. Hmm. So we're thinking like a B. Or they're thinking I'm thinking like B or C. It is a bit specific, but like there's definitely like it's it has like interesting synergy, and also it kind of stops a card like inherently too. I could go B or C. Like a dark deal a little bit. Oh, Azure is in the artwork. Hey, Bobby, what's up? Just we're looking at Dark Deal right now. I'm thinking B or C, but we got a good chunk of the set. The set's kind of flying by because a lot of. I'm not gonna say like bad cards. Honestly, it's just a lot of like mediocre type stuff. Apparently, Dark Deal you can chain to swords revealing a light, and swords will not stay on the field. Interesting. Yeah, they're not like they don't take too long to kind of put the judge hammer on. Um, yeah, Chad. Okay, Chad. What do we think for Dark Deal? B or C? But a pirate's first love be the sea. R. Hope you're doing well, Bobby. Hope you're taking care of yourself. I lean B because the effect is unique for the time. It is unique. It is interesting that it doesn't really like mention like Dark World anywhere, even though it's like obviously Dark World support, which is a little nice because theoretically you can use it with other stuff too, so it's not like tied directly to that strategy. Okay, we'll stick with that. Now just the E heroes. Let's do Feather Shot. Let's do like the stuff with like existing support. So you select your face up avian. This turn it can attack as many monsters. Uh, this turn, the selected card can attack as many times as the number of monsters on your side of the field when this card resolves. In that case, it cannot attack opponent's life points directly, and your monster cannot attack. Yeah, but Avian has already he has what 1,000 attack. You're getting what 2 to like 3 attacks on average with it, and you can't attack directly for like a little more damage. Yeah, this feels like a big stinker. This feels like a stinker-rooney. Which is kind of a shame. I really like the weird hero support stuff, but this seems really bad because it doesn't give Avion like any additional bonus. Like it should increase its attack for every monster on like your opponent's side of the field. Like even if like you would have to, yeah, like even if you use like you need Scapegoat and like United We Stand. But like, are you really running that in a hero deck? H Heart Micro. H Heated Heart. Gains 500 attack, and it does piercing. Cool. Micro ray. Like that needs a lot of stuff though. D. All right. I'm seeing enough D's. Sure. Only D because Strauss got banned. F. I mean, I could see a world, I suppose. Featherwind, on the other hand, if there's an Avion on your side, weird that they added like 2 Avion cards in this. Like, this should have been in the Lost Millennium. Negate the activation of spell card and destroy it. I mean, it's technically a free spell trap negate. You just need Avion, but that aside, it's a free counter trap negate. I don't. I think this might be a. I think this one might be a C. Like, yeah, Avion sucks, but it does just negate something. Like, as it is, I think it's designed as good as it could be. I'm not saying that's like inherently positive, inherently negative. That's just, it's jazz sometimes, baby. It's jazz. Yeah. B or C. Yeah, I want to go far as B because, yeah, like Avion does, like, it does drag it down for sure. So I'll meet in the middle with C. It was a hero barrier. Yeah, Avion has like its own kind of like weird issues with it. It's like, come on, Avion, why can't you? Why can't they all been stronger? They should all been like 1500 attack and have some like recruiter card that gets like a hero recruiter. That's what the strategy should have been. Or some like easy like yeah, there's like Rhoda, but we haven't got Stratos yet. Man, why isn't there just like a generic hero recruiter? Unless I'm like missing something. Hero barrier. Face a monster inside the field that includes E hero in its name, negate, and attack. Negate 1 attack from your opponent's monster. That feels. Is it just me or does that feel like worded weirdly? Negate 1 attack from your opponent's monster. Like, imagine, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On the schoolyard, and you like activate this card and say like, "Hey, this stopped. I stopped your attack last turn, so my Blade Edge comes back." Like, someone could have been doing that, right? Negate attack, but not a counter and specific to E heroes. Yeah, there's a million better cards, right? You could be running Threatening Roar or Waboku. You could be running Waboku. Like, it's like, again, consider that you would be running this in a hero deck. And like it not being a counter trap is probably like whatever because it's meant for like an attack stop. But it just stops an attack. I'm feeling D because I'm getting vibes of like kind of like the Oxygeddon thing where it's like you basically just be running it just to attack, whereas this you're just running basically to just stop one attack, and it feels like it's on that same plane of existence. Are all these hero archetype related? Kinda. Like, I guess in what way? Like synergy? Like modern wise synergy, right? Because you have like E heroes, you have Destiny heroes, for vaguely. You have the like mass heroes, the vision heroes, more modern stuff, you can like the favorite heroes, which are like kind of like a new branch of that. Um, Kinda like Neospatians also like in another universe, like evil hero. Even like the manga, like those more natural elemental heroes is kind of like a weird thing. Yeah, extra heroes. That's like 3 cards, right? But if you're running like a general hero deck nowadays, like you probably are running like a good chunk of like a mixture of those, right? Like you're definitely running like Ferris. Like you might be running Dark Fusion for like Malicious Bane or like yeah, like Malicious is it Malicious Bane? Maybe, right? Uh, probably running the extra heroes in there. Mass, like you might be running like Dark Loft, like mass hero stuff. So it's like a hodgepodge mix of a lot of that stuff. I mean, heroes are fun. Oh, no problem. I mean, if you're running like a casual hero deck, I mean, you get like modern stuff, you can build like a pretty good one. For this era, like the elemental energy meta of heroes is pretty pretty bleak. Although we do get a lot more support in this set, which is nice. And we already have the Bubble Man from Cybernetic Revolution. Blade Edge, it's a really cool looking card, isn't he? Like he's a really cool looking card. He's gold, baby, gold. Yeah, we're looking at like a bunch of different factors for these cards. We're not looking at like every single like facet of it because that would probably change like the ratings of some of them a bit too much. All right, if we're looking at like OCG and speed duels, so we're kind of looking at like a general overview of like at the time, meta relevant, idea, concept of the card. How does it last? Um, Blade Edge is really fun. I really like the starter deck Jaden print of this guy. Like it almost looks like an ulti. It kind of looks like an ulti in that print. It does piercing. That's about it. Yeah, you can get out with Necrochet, which gets stuff out. Dasher gets it out. Uh, like you're not really running this in like like a respectable hero deck, but it's not like inherently bad, right? As like like it's the big one. I feel like C, because like yeah, there are ways to get it out. Uh, it it looks cool. B or C piercing good. Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't say it's a B, just given like the other B cards. I think they're just generally just designed better. Like at the end of the day, this is just a big piercer. Like at least his stats are all right. Wild Heart, I Bladed Retrain went. Honestly though, what's up, Lead Lover? Honestly, I would love like a my favorite hero Blade Edge. Yeah, Wild Heart's really good. Like he pops up in certain decks. He's just unaffected by trap cards. He's searchable. He's recruitable. You can use him in the fusions that he's used for. Yeah, I would say A. I feel like maybe you could argue a B for Wild Heart. Uh, B in the OCG. You're saying no? Yeah, this guy just like swarms gadgets. That like really needs like those traps to kind of like keep getting those advantages going. But you also see him in like the occasional like weird deck, right? Like you might see him in like a hero, like a bubble beat kind of deck, or I think he sees play in like that like accumulated fortune deck or something like that. Wildheart feels like a high B. Hmm. What do you think? Well, I feel like high C. Oh, he has the orange juice. Um, I don't think he's C, and I feel like the stuff in A are like, I think Hydro Gidon is like one of the breakout stars of the set, and like the other cards that you could still see play in using. Uh, Whereas B feels like he fits better. Because he is a good card, but he's not like, like he's not defining anything. But he's definitely like one of the better cards of like that came out of this set. Yeah, Ocean Control. Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking when I said Bubble Beat earlier. Like you could argue like yeah, he's like the sleeper hit of the set. Because he did see like a little bit more play, but not like a ton of plays, kind of thing. Like I don't know if he's on the level of like a Hydro Geddon. Yeah, the 2006 meta was kind of weird. It was like 2005.5. hmm. Yeah, I could see the argument for A or B. I don't think it's C. Like he definitely has like shown his worth. I'm gonna say B because I feel like I feel like B is like the middle ground for all of our arguments here. But I feel like he reminds me of Beige a bit, right? Like they're good cards like in their deck, but they're not like like the card type of thing. Like they're not card when you get around, you're like, oh my god, it's Wild Heart. I mean, maybe in certain instances, but I feel like it. He reminds me of like a Beige type. He's got decent home in Earth and Warrior decks. Yeah, like he's a comfy card. He's a comfy hero. All right, we'll save the cover card for last. So let's talk about Wild Edge, Wild Boy. Hey, Zacharoni Cheese, what's up? The stream smells good today. Do you smell what the Janjo is cooking? God, I wish it smelled good. I wish it always smelled like cookies or bread. Some type of carb, macaroni and cheese. It's like every time I see your name, like Zacharoni and cheese, like I could have some macaroni and cheese. Some breadcrumbs, maybe some like bacon bits. Ooh, some like buffalo chicken mac. Could be good. 5 cheese, 5 cheddar, 5 cheddar heaven. Anyway, I gotta stop buying my mac and cheese. Wild Edge, Wild Heart, and Blade Edge. He attacks all monsters on your opponent's side of the field once each. Also open multiple times each. Oh, geometry and final attack orders. Oof. Easy to set up. Yeah, I never really see people like mess around with the Wild Edge, but it's definitely like there's definitely something there, right? He does have good attack and be able to attack like everything. Can be good. Wild Heart's good. Blade Edge, you could theoretically play one in your deck, right? To get this guy out, or if you play King of the Swamp, which you probably are if you're running a hero deck. B, not bad card. Thinking B. Wild Edge, be bad. Can also work with Armory Arm and Junk Barrage. Armory Arm. Oh goodness, we're not there yet. Rampart Blaster. Give Give me the lost art. Give me the lost art. I actually really have a soft spot for the like OG fusions, like the GX era fusions. They're just really fun. You take two cards and you just bam, here's a new one. Let's see, Clayman, Burstcentrix. You know, Clayman's okay. Burstcentrix, well, no, the original Super Heavy Samurai is Total Defense Shogun. May I remind you? He's right behind me. I can't ignore him. Let's see. When this card is face up defense position, this card, this card, I don't know why. This card's a face up defense position. This card can attack your opponent's life points directly. Um, Half the damage. So it does 1,000 attack direct. You know, once per turn, 1,000 points. Not horrible, especially with like 2,500 booty. Yeah, but the thing is, like, keep in mind, like, hero decks around this time, you're definitely running 3 King of the Swamps. So, like, if you don't need to run Burst Genitrix, like, you could easily just use a King of the Swamp and like a Clayman. Isn't the pre-errata? This is the first ed Elemental Energy. Unless I'm missing something. Let me see. Let me see. I'm not seeing. I feel like there was like a weird like or I was like some card. Is it? Are you thinking of like Mariner? I think Mariner had like a weird thing. Because it seems like his modern effect is that must be fusion summon. This card can attack directly on defense position. If it does apply attack for damage calc and attack is half during damage calc only. Yeah, seems generally the same. 2 materials for 1,200. No, it's like 1,000. Although technically, something interesting that it's not original attack in any of the prints. So you could theoretically slap on like, you know, Unite with Sand and then just deal like a ton of damage. Because it deals half of his attack and it's 2k attack, so it deal 1,000. I don't hate Rampart Blaster. Like it's like for a defender and like you know like it feels like it fits the theme of the two monsters it combines. For having something that's like defensive, but it can still like get stuff in. And like a sneaky like direct attack and like late game. Like it could be kind of dangerous. So it goes off of the attack stat for damage calc, not the defense. So it has the because it applies half the attack of this card. Manishia rather fuse for Thunder Giant Wild Edge. I mean that's fair. I mean, burn can theoretically go a long way depending on like the game state. Like you could in theory sneak victories. You could also argue that yeah, just summon Thunder Giant or like Wilder to attack. But if you don't have those specific fusions, like yeah, if you have Clayman and like King of the Swamp, you could just get Thunder Giant out. That is true. Um, high D tier. Are you thinking C or D? I'm 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 leaning towards C. But you know, I'm a Janjo of the people. All right, I've been outvoted. That's fine. I think it has more merit, but that's fine. Tempest, Avion, Sparkman, and Bubbleman. So only one bad one. Um, you can send one card except for itself from your side field or graveyard, and then select one monster on your side of the field. While this card stays on the field, that monster gets battle. What is with all the battle protection in this set? Um, it gets battle protection. It gives battle protection to something. You have to discard a card. It has good stats otherwise. 28, 28. Meh. Yeah, like rather just run just another fusion with that just has like a different effect. See, this feels like a D. At least Rampart you can do burn damage. This thing just like I don't think it's F. Protect from big scary. Yeah, but then like if you're facing off against like a Cyber End Dragon, like Tempest is like screwed either way. Uh, like Ocean Protection, I guess when Ocean comes out, but you're using a lot of materials for this guy just for some Ocean Protection. Like it feels way too cold. Like if you're worried for that, then I don't know what to tell you, buddy. If I feel like if Rampart, see this guy has to be a D. The big boy can work with other things. Theory, Vapor. No one's running Vapor. Vapor has really cool art, though. I will admit. I think it has like some pretty like it's like nasty art. But Flame Wingman, and Sparkman. But you can use King of the Swamp, so you can use King of Swamp plus Sparkman, which is a nice thing. Um, increase that by 300 for each hero in your graveyard. When it destroys a monster by the result of battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to attack and destroy monster. So it also gets a Flame Wingman effect. Yeah, so it's not inherently hard to summon. It can potentially get big if it's late in the game, and it does burn damage. Obviously, its attack can only make the burn damage so high, but it's potentially a higher thing. Potentially, get more of that. But still, the fact it doesn't burn yourself is really good. Yeah, I like Shining Flare Wingman. I don't think it's the best hero that we've seen. Miracle Fusion Target is kind of it. Like I think like in this era of heroes, because now we have like a retrain of it basically, right? Like that, like the Neos Wingman, whatever it's called. And if we need like one that gains attack, you have wake up your elemental hero that essentially does that but better. But generally for a while, like it's it's not terrible. I feel like this could be a B tier. I would argue. I mean, what are y'all thinking? I'm thinking B is what I'm leaning towards. Yeah, because I'm thinking it's like on the same vein as like Wild Edge, where you might not get out every game, but like it could definitely help you if in certain situations. Has dual masters feel to it. I could see that. Yeah, like I like dual. I still have my dual masters cards, by the way. Y'all want to see dual masters cards? I always thought like the yellow thing on its arm looks like an eclair. I think I made that joke in my uh, history video when I covered this format. It involves the best of the original four. Sparkman I could play theoretically. Yeah, like if you're running like a hero deck, you're definitely running Sparkman. Hey, Serpentine Deity, what's up? Anyone else quit after Pendulums? Honestly, like I mean, as someone who's been covering formats throughout the history of Yu-Gi-Oh, there are some good Arc Vive formats, and even like afterwards in like the Ranger that I've covered. Um, it's I mean, all of Yu-Gi-Oh is just full of like high and low points, really. Um, I mean, I know a lot of people like quit after Pendulum because my the views on video on like history stuff as soon as I hit like Pendulums kind of drop down. Um, but then like you get like a lot of really good formats. Like a lot of good years. Like yeah, there's bad years, but there's good years like 2016, 2019 are both like really good years. 2017 parts of it. The thing on his arm looks like a digi egg. It's a big eclair. It's a banana. It is a little silly looking, I will admit. But like it's kind of an iconic look otherwise though. It's like Flame Wingman in like a suit of like holy armor. I'm I'm feeling B because it's a Wild Edge. This is definitely a set of all time. It feels like the B's definitely got filled up, but it's a lot of B's compared to a lot of C's. Not a ton of like outwardly terrible cards, but not a ton of outwardly great cards either. It's like very mediocre. Oh, I quit at monkey board. Oh yeah, monkey board. Yeah. Was that pendulum domination or was that no? It was master pendulum. One of the yeah that structure deck really kind of. I mean, just keep in mind that like Pepe was what like a few weeks format. Like if you look back, earlier with like the clown format, um, like that was a good year or a good period of time. That like late 2015. Because I mean, again, you look at some of my formats coverage and like, I mean, people were quitting during the GX era too. Like 5Ds got people back into it. That was the last time I interacted with actual dueling online. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I actually remember, yeah, because I remember like the online stuff at that time too, which is wild to think about. Like, gosh, time flies. You're having fun. Yeah, like I think GX was like fun at the start, but like for like the competitive side of things, definitely like peter down it. But I do think GX has a lot of um I keep using the word charm, but I don't know if that's the exact like there's like something about it that I feel like people don't discuss. And I would like to make a video on it. I just don't know like the words for it quite yet. Sidra is like really big, but there's always like there's always gonna be like that one card, right? Like Dad was, I mean, yeah, I mean, freaking Dad Return, like those decks were like so freaking expensive. Yeah, I think people generally like the direction that GX was like going in terms of how it was like kind of evolving the game. Right now, it wasn't just like random cards; it had more of a theme to it. But obviously, there's a balance to that because now you have like modern stuff where like everything is like archetypal, but then you go back to like GX stuff where the archetypal stuff was also like kind of bad for the most part. Yeah, I don't think we were like quitting in droves like in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I think pendulums definitely hurt because a lot of people's like decks were just instantly killed because the way the mm, was it new master rule like worked. But then when you have formats that are just so crazy expensive, like Teledad and just like obscene formats that people don't like, like Dark Strike Fighter, like the Dark Strike format. But like that's kind of that's always Yu-Gi-Oh, right? People didn't like the auto lock stuff. I enjoy GX's design for extra pop art in their design. Yeah, they have an aesthetic and they have like a sense of fun to it that I feel like hasn't really been replicated in Yu-Gi-Oh because it really because while the original Yu-Gi-Oh, it was kind of more off of like the manga and like vague anime stuff, whereas GX was like fully enveloped in the anime and its anime roots. Uh, and it just like it was clearly having fun with even if like the cards were bad, it was just meant to like kicking back at the schoolyard, wherever the lyrics are. But the early implementation of Pendulum was the issue. You could tell they didn't know what they were doing. Yeah. But to be fair, though, Konami's credit, they eventually did fix it with, was it MR6? And, like, yeah, I like early pens because early pens were really bad. It took them a while before, um, we got, like, more fun decks like Cleese and Magispectors were a lot of fun. Uh, it, like Metal Foes, Ignites if you kind of want to play those. Yeah, I'm not saying like they weren't meta or anything like that. I mean like when pens first came out, like Pendulum Magician stuff. It Cleese took like a little bit of time, but even like in their peak, it took them like another year before people started playing the Towers variant. It was funny seeing everyone freak out Odd Eyes having a Sangan effect. It's funny, yeah, it's really funny to see like hype cards that are like in retrospect, like why do people get this card the time of day? Like I'm pretty sure I have a Klee deck. Um, I think I have a Magic Spectre deck. But like Pendulums eventually got there, and and it's fun because like it wasn't like deck every meta deck was a Pendulum strategy either. And again, Konami eventually kind of fixed it. Uh, you could say too late, but hey, they were trying with it. Yeah, when Sky Iris came out, but you can, I mean, yeah, but yeah, you could definitely tell that Konami weren't quite sure on like the whole like pendulum thing. I think that turned a lot of people off because a lot of people were expecting it to be like another extra deck mechanic, and it wasn't. It was something different, and people just didn't really know what to do with it. Not saying that was inherently good or bad, but it is what it is. It's understandable like annoyance with it, but I think a lot of it, like that's possibly due to perception, or like expecting something out of the game that looks familiar, but it's like not quite the same. And maybe that's why Konami never really went back that direction, right? The closest thing would be like Links with like the Link arrows and stuff. And even that, I'm surprised that they didn't go more hard in with like because that's with Links, they eventually retracted certain things on that. Um, that killed a lot of people's like favorite decks. But I think that's what I was referring to earlier, not pendulums, where Links killed a lot of people's favorite decks. But then Links, again, eventually Konami retracts on certain things. They fix it up, and then it's yada yada better. I mean, we even saw this as early as like the Xyz monsters, right? The first month, you could detach Sangan for Sangan's effect, and then Konami came out like, "Great, no, 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 that's not how that works. That's not how that works. We changed our mind." Which is a really interesting format. I feel like people haven't really like that like early Tengu playing period. But hey, listen, we did it. We did it within roughly around the time. We did Elemental Energy. Next week we will be covering the next set, ideally. Xyz is probably my favorite mechanic. Yeah, no, I'm honestly I think that might be my favorite as well. I really like the Xyz mechanic. I think it's a great like resource system. It's a great way to like get out cards. Yeah, big Xyz fan. But next time, yeah, we'll be covering Shadow of Infinity, which I need to make sure I download all the cards for that because I do not have all the cards for that. Sacred Beasts are coming. Will you be there? I sure hope so. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Till then, have a nice day.